One and all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to your favorite show with your favorite bro. Quick Takes is back one more time for the second time this week. It is Quick Takes Season 3, Episode 12B, back at you. Yes, football frenzy is still on pause. Yes, Jump Ball Season 2 has not started yet. Just stay patient with me, y'all. You see the weather changing, it's gonna come. Just like how football weather is kind of changing from, now November, it's kind of turning into December. We're gonna get into playoffs football very soon. Just like that, we are gonna get into hoops very soon. Football only has 17 regular season games. Hoops has 82. We're gonna, dive into it in chunks there and not deep dive and overreact to every single game, to whether a old school legend calls somebody whatever. We're gonna get past all of that and then actually just talk hoops later. But today, like I mentioned, it is Quick Takes back at for you guys. 93-71-1 record after that 0-1 Thursday night football. And let's get into it. Raiders are back, but it's gonna take a second before we get to that. Before we start with the Raiders, let's start off in the division. It is the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Indianapolis Colts. It takes a second to kind of get that tongue twister out of your tongue. But yeah, in this one, like Ric Flair once famously proclaimed, to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And for the Colts to, really get into that conversation of are they a contender, not just a challenger, a contender. This is going to be their test. Yes, they are 8-2. Kansas City's 5-5, but that's what makes this game more intriguing. If Kansas City was 8-2 and Indy was 5-5, you're easily going to be like, oh yeah, Kansas City at home going to win this. Patrick Mahomes, ooh, the excuses are already there. But in this one, with a 5-5 record, with last year going 12-0 in one score games, but this year those are not going your way. There one reason or another, the wins have not been easy to come by, which they never are. But so far, they had seemed easily coming by. But this season, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be, a very tough matchup. I think Lou Anarumo having that background, beating Kansas City in that 2021 playoff run, gives the confidence that hey, I can call the defense to beat Patrick Mahomes. Personnel wise, you're getting Shavarius Mooney back. That's going to play a factor. This is, I believe, second or third week of Sauce Gardner playing in that system. That's going to help out. Jermaine Pratt, you got, a few weeks prior. He's been in the AFC before. And yeah, you just have pieces all around that can cause harm for the Chiefs. Biggest reason being Chiefs have not been able to run the ball. If they had, I think you would miss DeForest Buckner more. But without him, I think even I do believe DeForest Buckner is on IR. But I think that might cost Indy. I'm not sure. I do believe they're coming off the bye, if I'm not mistaken, so that can play a factor for them as well. Kansas City a little bit more, game ready, possibly at home. So I'm rocking out with Kansas City. You could call it an upset, but is it really? So we're gonna have to, keep an eye out for that. Also, keep an eye out for Jonathan Taylor because these are the type of games, these are the type of opponents that seal your MVP candidacy. So we're gonna have to see that there as well. Moving on, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers without Aaron Rodgers taking on the supposed house that he owns in Chicago at Soldier Field. And in this one, I'm gonna rock out with the Bears. I did have the Steelers written down. Had it been Rodgers, even with a broken left wrist, I would have rocked out with him. But in this one, I think Chicago's kind of building that momentum to create that space between them and the rest of the division in the NFC North, which I do believe nobody saw coming. I think it was the other three teams and the Bears who are actually not going to do anything, which, in hindsight, Raiders, we're not talented enough. I'm not even going to go there, but we are going to come back there. Also, something that is prevalent in this game is going to be the running game. I'm not sure if DeAndre Swift is coming back. If it is going to be Mungai, is he going to be, able to carry against that Steelers defense? Who are they going to show up? Are they not? What is happening? They did make some upgrades defensively. Elliott went out, but they did end up getting Duggar, which has helped out their safety tandem. But in this one, Caleb Williams has all those weapons all around him, and the way Ben Johnson's calling it, it's kind of hard to pick against Chicago, especially without an Aaron Rodgers on the opposite sideline. Well, he is going to be on the opposite sideline more than likely, but without him being on the opposite, without him being part of the opposition, let's just say, on the field. Moving on, it is the Patriots at Bengals. I think Patriots go into Cincinnati, handle this pretty handedly. Yes, Joe Burrow comes back, but guess what? His favorite wide receiver, his number one receiver, he decided to spit on Jalen Ramsey and then act like he did not spit on Jalen Ramsey with all the cameras that modern, times has around him. Just literally everybody has a phone which has a camera that will capture any moment, so is definitely going to be captured. Not sure why he lied, but suspended for a game. So see you after this game, Jamar Chase. So in this game, I did predict Cincinnati to win this, but like I mentioned with the Rogers there, no Jamar Chase, no chance for the Bengals. Yeah, they're at home, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, especially with the way that the Patriots are rolling, and I do believe Stevenson is coming back. Stevenson and Henderson, 1-2 punch going into the playoffs. I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it. We're going to keep it moving. In the AFC East, it is the New York Jets taking on the Baltimore Ravens on the road. Pretty easy. Taking the Ravens in this one. Tyrod Taylor starts for the Jets in this one. I don't know if, how much the Jets fans have been clamoring, but it's not like they don't, good football anyway. But hey, it is what it is. That's where you are at now. Your owner pretty much called out Justin Fields. Since then, it was never going to probably be right to go back to him, but you did, and then now you are at Tyrod. He is going back home in a sense to where it all started in Baltimore. But am I gonna take Tyrod Taylor with? Other than Mitchell, like really no weapons. And I do want to throw this out there again. I did mention it when that trade went down with Sauce and picks plus Mitchell. That AD Mitchell, give him some time, give him a training camp, give him just a little bit of patience. Him and Garrett Wilson, if they are able to get another weapon or two, should be a very, very, very intriguing group. If they can land a tight end, it's easy to say, but like how we were able to get Bowers, how Indy was able to get Tyler Warren, it's obviously not going to be of that sort. But let's say Mark Andrews, who should be available in free agency, depending on the quarterback, depending on the way the system goes, if you are able to land a Mark Andrews, that offense is going to look, even with these two wide receivers, completely different, which entail will, decide how it goes going forward, especially with Brees Hall being in the back that you did not trade. Also not sponsored by Nike, but we'll take that. And I also mentioned the trades, the Jets trades. That's where it kind of gets me here, because before Jets actually had a phenomenal run defense, but stop King Henry, they do not have Quentin Williams in that defensive line anymore. So I do not have any hope that they do stop King Henry behind the line of scrimmage, which more than likely means Baltimore goes rumbling to another victory. And from the earlier matchup where the Steelers do end up losing to the Bears, that kind of, evens out the division one more time for them. And then now Baltimore gets start going towards their divisional crown. We're going to have to see how long Aaron Rodgers is going to be out for them. Moving on, it is the Seattle Seahawks traveling out to Tennessee to take on the number one overall pick in Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans with the fired head coach. So obviously we're not going that way. Seattle wins this, probably wins this big. I see a game similar to how it started with the Cardinals. In the first quarter, it might end 28-0 with that defensive pressure. The offensive line cannot, hold a sneeze. And I do mean that respectfully because I expected that offensive line to be a hell of a lot better than they are right now. Weapons wise, Calvin Ridley's out. Unless Restrepo is about to have, the best NFL debut of all time and go crazy for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns in terms of receiving. But even that might still not be enough to beat the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold needs to bounce back after a four-pick game against a divisional opponent last week. It is not the same type of opponent, but JSN does have a relatively easy path this week. Roger McCreary, I think he only plays on one side. Respectfully, should be able to be taken advantage by the current form that JSN is in right now. Legere Sneed, that free agency has not worked out for the Titans so far, like a lot of them in their history. And the biggest factor for me for the Seahawks this season has been the health of both of their running backs, but definitely Kenneth Walker. He sets the tempo for them. Jax Charbonnet gives them that second punch, and then they keep it rolling on offense. We're gonna have to see how they, if they revert back to that ground game, but like I mentioned, Mike McDonald is literally historic in terms of road games, so we are not picking up against him. One of our divisional matchups only having, I do believe, three this week. It is the Vikings at the Packers, and in this one, I'm rocking on with the Vikings. Why do I say that? Because it is a divisional matchup. I do believe Vikings 2 weeks ago, it might have been, beat Lions in Detroit, or it could have been up in, well, they beat a divisional opponent. So, NFC North, it's still kind of volatile where nobody has really kept a stronghold. Chicago, like I mentioned, they are stacking up wins, but it's still their first year together, so nobody can really give them that benefit of the doubt, especially in the playoffs. It is what it is for the Bears, but in this one, Packers not having Josh Jacobs. Even last week, it was a last second play where Micah had a call game. A hair mare could have at least been attempted. They lost to Cleveland and they lost to Carolina this year. Shout out to Carolina, they're doing their thing, but those are the opponents that they have kind of, came down to. Um, yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard for me to pick against Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Those guys, are motivated, I do believe, to help out their quarterback. He has struggled, yes, but he has also not even had 10 starts so far. Kind of similar boat that two of Michael Penix, who unfortunately got hurt. We will come to him in a bit. Um, but yeah, uh, it's hard. It's hard to be a Packers fan right now, not knowing or just having that uncertainty of what the team is going to look like, how they are going to perform week to week, not having Nate Hobbs against the wide receivers that I just mentioned. And then for your own wide receiver's sake, uh, yes, you drafted a wide receiver finally in the first round, but he has not shown up to be a number one weapon so far. At least he has not stepped out in that sense, how Buka, even with two other wide receiver ones, did. Um, yeah, it's gonna be tough. Divisional matchup you can never call wrong. Aaron Jones going back to Green Bay. That's it. He controls the ground game, controls the clock. They went out, and I do believe B Flow's defense has given Jordan Love a little bit of trouble in the past, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Divisional matchup, you never know. So let's keep it moving. New York Giants at the Detroit. Almost called them Pistons, but in this one, I am rocking with the Lions. I don't know why I thought about anything else otherwise. I mean, you already know what the wide receivers hold. You already know what the running backs hold. That offensive line kind of does give me a little bit of worry. It's not obviously not the tackles. It's the interior that has to, switch and change in the last few years. They look like they can be susceptible to be had. They are also younger as well compared to the offensive tackles who have both gotten paid. So yeah, I mean, on the interior, still kind of does give me a little bit of trouble, but it is front seven of the Giants. No, not having Thibodeau in this one kind of does help out, but Brian Burns was it with his 13 sacks. It's going to be, Burns on one side, you have Hutch on the other. Defense, it's going to come out, but which defense is going to fold? There has been moments where Lions defense has shown out where they look like they are ready for the playoffs. Then they also show moments where they are, um, how do I put it together? They show their vulnerabilities where they have been injured. It is the first year with a DC, a new DC, and all those factors kind of do come out at the wrong time at certain games at certain times. Hopefully, it's not that case in this one. It is at home, so I am rocking out with the Detroit Lions in this one. Keeping it moving. Jaguars at the Cardinals. Jaguars. Cardinals do not have Kyler. They do not have Marvin Harrison. They do not have Will Johnson on the defensive side. So unless Calais Campbell takes over, Walter Nolan take over, I do hope that the Jacks come out even on the road. I think they have a defense that's decent enough to kind of get through with this. Let's also remember Jaguars did beat the Kansas City Chiefs at home earlier in the season. Liam Cohen did before Tampa Bay come from Sean McVay Street down in LA, so he has familiarity with being in the division with the Cardinals, understanding what they are made of. And in this one, I think, not having your running back one, not having a running back two for the Cardinals, while, I think this might be Travis Etienne's best year outside of his first 2 years. So that plays a factor in controlling the ball, controlling the clock. Trevor Lawrence over Jacoby Brissett. I mean, that should be a pretty easy take, but is it really? Jacoby looks like he could be a starter next season. I mean, T-Law so far is just a starter right now. Let's see if he goes up and stacks another win on top of the Chargers win that he has so far in the playoffs. Do they even get to the playoffs, especially with the way Houston's playing? So there's a lot to be, you know, I don't want to say focused on because I don't know if you want to focus on the AFC South football, but something to be intrigued by in terms of records, in terms of team and how they end up at the end of the season. Um, and I do believe Texans and Jaguars play again, so it should be intriguing to see how that game goes the second time around. But we keep it moving. Now we get to the, you know what? Let me get to the Falcons and New Orleans Saints first. Second of our divisional matchups this week. Yes, you see the red and black. It is not for the Falcons. We are rocking out with the Saints in this one at home. Rocking out with Cam Jordan, ROG. Yeah, he does not like the Falcons. He still remembers Matt Ryan. He still remembers taking down Matt Ryan. So, I mean, that is still going to click in his head. He's going to go crazy. Um, Divisional matchup, familiarity with the right tackle, all of that's going to play in factor. Demario Davis, same thing. Falcons, they've gotten blanked this season. Um, Michael Penix is out. Is Kirk Cousins about to go? You like that? I mean, if he does bring that Kirk Cousins back 10 years later, I will like that, but he has to show me that he still has that fire left in him. It does not look like anybody in that Falcons organization has any fire left in them, even with, I mean, they had defensively a phenomenal rookie class. Yeah, I mean, I don't know like what direction they are headed to right now. I mean, Saints, they're kind of still iffy on their quarterback and Tyler Shuck. But he has kind of put in a performance where you're kind of like, is there something there? So um, that's a factor. Not having Drake London on offense is going to hinder Kirk Cousins' abilities. I mean, it kind of helps out the defense for the Saints of having to worry about one less guy, especially one less being that of Drake London. How was New Orleans Saints offense going to look? Olave stays hurt. Rashid Shaheed got traded to Seattle. This is a pick'em type of matchup. 3-7, I do believe, against a 2-8. I'll rock out with the Saints. They get up, get out of the picks bowl that we are gonna mention right after this. And yeah, hopefully Saints win. They get out of the picks hole. We move up in the draft. And talk about we move up in the draft. Let's get into it. Raiders back. And Miles Garrett's coming home. We're taking the Browns. Shador starts. Yeah, take your first win at the cost of us because Chiefs came and won their Super Bowl in our building. I mean, we are still yet to win a playoff game in our building, but Chiefs have came out and already won a Super Bowl in our building. So I mean, like, what do I even say after that? This season, did I expect pain and darkness? Obviously, I did. I'm a Raiders fan, duh. But did I imagine it to be as dark as it has been, as gloomy as it has been, as ridiculous as it has been? No. I am not going to be one of those Twitter negative Nancy's. You guys could go to Twitter, Instagram, any other Raider pages. You guys will find all the negativity that you need towards the Raiders in all those pages. I am here just to let you know, yes, we will lose today, but it is going to go in the long way to help us out. Why do I say that? We are going to be in the top five, hopefully, after this win. Browns win this, they go to 3-8. We lose this, we go to 2-9. There is nothing for us to play in this season. Yes, if we win this game, this might be our final win of the season. Will I be happy about that? Obviously, I will. Thanksgiving, we're going into it, good mood, all that. But I also know my Raiders. I picked them the last few weeks on prime time. And I mean, if I had any notoriety, I think I probably would have been a meme by now. But shout out to my Raiders. No notoriety, no hate, strict business. Business calls for it, not intentionally to lose, but knowing our history, we're gonna do right. But at the same time, watch this be a reverse jinx and watch us win on a game-winning field goal or something, or Max Crosby calls game, which like I mentioned, I will always take, but kind of does hinder our top five ability. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Having 2-2-8 teams sucks absolutely terribly in this situation. Gino against Shador, we keep it moving. Tampa Bay, no. Before we get to Tampa Bay, we do have one final matchup. It is the Eagles at the Cowboys, our final divisional matchup to mention for the Sunday slate. And in this one, we are obviously gonna rock out with the Eagles. Why do I mention that? Because through all the trials and tribulations of this season, it has been the Eagles that are still, I do believe, top in the NFC, if not on par with the Rams, who were with them in the divisional matchup in Philly. It's like the Western Conference in NBA. It's the same teams in the NFC. One upgraded in a sense where they got Devontae Adams and they slightly changed their offense. So now they look completely different in a sense. They look rejuvenated and all of that. Uh, Puka Nakua, he was banged up here and there, missing a game or two here and there all throughout last season. This season he missed a game or two early in the season. Since then he has been healthy. Devontae Adams, especially in the red zone, phenomenal. 3 tight end sets with Matthew Stafford. I mean, MVP candidate. Kyron Williams, I mentioned they should be running the rock more a few weeks ago. They started doing so, bringing another dimension to their game, which is only going to help them out. Defensively, I still question their secondary. Quentin Lake is currently out, I do believe, possibly on IR. That plays a factor because I do believe he's their best safety. Cornerback wise, Kobe Durant is solid. Emmanuel Forbes, he had a flag last week. At moments, he can still be had. Still relatively um, young in a sense. I do believe it's his second or third year. So he should be taking those strides, but you want him playing his best ball going into, let's say, January, December, definitely going into January. So if he still keeps ascending rather than stagnates or descends, I think you are in a good position. But for the Eagles, I think, not having those type of eye candies around, they're just winning. Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter what. At the When it's the final score, it's the Eagles coming out with a victory. Um, and that's what it has been. Shout out to both defenses. Cowboys just released Kyrie Elam, so we're gonna have to see how the secondary of if Diggs returns, how Bland and Sharon Ravel, who just came back from injury, their second or third round cornerback, how those two look against the duo of Smitty and AJ indoors. How Saquon gonna look against a divisional opponent that he pretty much knows everything about. Interior is going to play a factor with Kenny Clark, Ozal Digajua, and Quinn Williams, but it is the exterior where Lane Johnson is out. On the outside, you really have to worry about a Jadavian Clowney and a Dante Fowler. Ezaraku has given you moments, but you kind of hope to, you know, kind of game plan around that. Outside of that, I think the legs of Jalen Hurts also plays a factor. Dak is healthier. It was a close game early in the season. It was week one, 24-20, but I do believe the secondary is completely different from that time. Um, I do believe Jalen Carter being out before the first play of the game did play a factor for the Eagles in that game for it to be as close as it was. This one, hopefully, he plays the full game with you know, well, am I missing the other guy's name? Davis. Shout out Jordan Davis, but Jordan Davis playing his best football as well. Those two guys on the interior, so that should play a factor. Jalen Phillips, the past 2 weeks since he came from Miami, like I mentioned, has looked re-energized and has balled the f out. BG bringing the energy has played a factor. I think that leadership was missing a little bit in that locker room. Um, yeah, amongst everything else, they are getting healthier in the back end as well. They should be hopefully getting Jacorian Bennett back. I'm not sure if he's out for the year. They should be getting Mike Epps back. I'm not sure if he's out for the year, but those two guys could go help out in the special teams. That's the third phase of the game that a lot of people do tend to forget about. I think even at wide receiver three, I think like I mentioned from last year, no shots taken, but compared to Mechie, Jahan Dotson is an upgrade. And then you used to have a Dallas Goddard and those guys where if the offensive line hosts just enough and doesn't go down like paper towels, wet paper towels, as soon as the ball snaps, just like the Raiders O line did, I think they can just pick them apart in the pocket. That's not Jalen Hurts' games, but I have seen him to be able to do that since I watched him since Alabama, didn't go to Oklahoma and all that. But yeah, I do believe in Jalen Hurts. I still do believe in Sirianni. I still do believe in um, this offense as a whole, and they will keep on going forward. Last but not least, let's go down to LA. It is the Rams hosting Tampa Bay. In this one, we are rocking with the Rams for Sunday night football. No Jamel Dean, no Ben Bredson, no Cody Mock, no Bucky Irving, no Hassan Reddick. Yeah, I mean, I try to give Baker and the Bucks the benefit of the doubt the last few weeks. Yes, Chris Godwin is coming back, but it's going to be unfortunate that he comes back to a loss. Yes, the defense travels, but I don't think they have been able to generate the pass rush that they want to. So they might have had to send some extra bodies, which leaves them susceptible in the back end. Like I mentioned, no Jamel Dean, so playing up against this wide receiver duo is going to be a factor because I do not trust any of their other cornerbacks. Antoine Winfield, yes, he tackles, but I have seen some holes in his game as he has gotten older in terms of coverage wise. So, that leaves you something a little bit more to be desired, similar to that of Buda Baker, respectfully to both. And like I mentioned, it is at home. The defensive front for the Rams is going to want to eat. Not having Breton, not having Cody Mock. I mean, just not having starting offensive linemen. You already saw what the Raiders had to endure with the Cowboys. Tampa Bay might have to endure similar fate to that with the Rams with their front seven. Like I mentioned, with their secondary, Quentin Lake being out, Kobe Durant there, but the rest of the secondary still kind of leaving more to be desired. But yeah, we will see how they get back. Minnesota runs it back with Green Bay in Week 18. So even though we picked Minnesota today, Green Bay can go to Minnesota and take their revenge out there in Week 18 to probably get into the playoffs, perhaps. We're gonna have to see that. But you already know what it is. I will catch y'all tomorrow for Monday Night Football. Till then, It's all love. But also 93, 71-1 record. So go back, show love to the rest of the old videos. Till then, you already know what it is.